Hi there, welcome to my channel. It's Krista here to do the weekly reading for the sign of Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Leo, if you don't know your Moon and Rising sign, check the description box for a link to alwaysastrology.com. There you can plug in your information and find out your entire birth chart. And that way, if for any reason this reading doesn't resonate with you this week, you can check out your Moon and Rising sign readings for the week and see if those are more helpful. That being said, I do hope that this is helpful and healing and does resonate with you, my Leos. So this is a general reading for Leo for the week of May 23rd to the 29th. I'll be doing the same spread I did last week with the same deck. I got a lot of good feedback regarding this deck and the spread, so I'm going to stick to that for now. It's a 5-card spread. I'll be using the Wisdom of the Oracle card deck for the central spread and then drawing additional messages from both the Medicine Card Tarot and the Healing with the Angels Tarot. So I wish for Leo all success, joy, and wellness. I call upon Archangels Michael, Gabriel, Metatron, and Uriel to guide this reading in peace, clarity, protection, and wisdom. I ask that Mother Gaia please bless this reading for Leo. Leo, this is a general reading, so I encourage you to apply whatever messages you find helpful here to whatever is most prominent in your life this week. So that could be travel, health, romance, business, etc. Whatever is currently the most prominent issue in your life this week is what I'm going to get you to apply these messages to, and hopefully they'll be helpful for you. So for the central position so far, Leo, we have Come to the Edge. Come to the Edge is a card of risk-taking, but it's calculated risk-taking. This isn't about being flippant and taking unnecessary chances or risks. This is about learning to go with your heart and taking a calculated risk or taking a chance even. Pardon me. Which is lovely. So to the left of the central position, the left's position is what you're just coming out of or your recent past, is the card the Fates. It is a karmic card. It could be that over the past week or several weeks you've been having a conversation with yourself or beloved others that include large-scale fateful decisions. It looks here from outside influences that you're not making these decisions alone or you're not going into this decision making alone. Other than that, you've sought a lot of feedback about large-scale, life-altering, fateful, karmic, etc. decisions. And you have a great deal of support for Come to the Edge. I'm going to show you the cards up close in just a moment. I just have one more card to get laid here. So far, very beautiful. This is really lovely. This is about calculated risk-taking with a great deal of support. And the only thing that you might be sort of mulling over at this stage of the game, Leo, it appears as though there's a mask wearing internally. So all I mean by that is whatever large-scale decision is being made here, you just need to ask yourself or discover for yourself, perhaps over some time, is this decision all about status? Is it all about reaching higher levels of public accolade, public adoration, public acceptance, etc.? Or is it about you doing what you feel internally in your heart and on a karmic level that you really truly want to do, that is beneficial to you and to all of humanity? Because that's the way being good to ourselves works. When we're good to ourselves, it benefits everyone, and the opposite is certainly true. Or if you're doing it for the highest reasons possible, and that you will be rewarded monetarily and through status and through possessions, etc. Just as a happenstance, that you'll benefit, almost like altruism in a way. For example, Leo, altruism is an interesting word. Check it out, Google it. It's a really interesting word because what we consider, what a lot of people leave out of the word altruism when we explain it to one another or when we discuss it, is that we sort of stop short of saying that we benefit as well by virtue of helping or benefiting others. And this is the beauty of altruism. So if you're contemplating an altruistic act or lifestyle or any large-scale karmic property about yourself, okay, manifestation about yourself, I think it will be beneficial to the whole, to the human family, and you will benefit regardless. I just don't see it as I don't see it as the overarching motivation. I just think that it's something that you're going to benefit from, which is lovely. But again, altruism, very interesting. So if you're doing something for others on a large scale that you feel suited for, that you feel that the whole point of the behavior is to benefit others while you yourself benefit, it's not just going to benefit you on a karmic level, on a love level, relationship level, or on a artistic level. I think you will be the recipient of sort of, I'm trying not to say riches, but I am the recipient of riches. But please remember that riches can come through and come in the form of so many different things, right? We can be rich in health, we can be rich in relationships, and we can certainly be rich in castles and cars too. So let's take a look at these up close together, Leo. So like I said, your central card, which represents you this week, Leo, is Come to the Edge. Hopefully you can see that she is surrounded by hearts. That's not the only card in this spread this week that has a great deal of hearts around it. I know for you this week, this decision, no matter what it is about love, for love, by love. This isn't a selfish decision. This is about healing. This is about great deal of contemplation. Like I said, this is not a reckless act. This comes about because you've contemplated and you've calculated what it will take and what you need to sacrifice and what you need to do, etc., to get to the place where you can fulfill your karmic destiny. And the reason why I think it's going to be a beautiful positive outcome is because of your probable outcome card, which is Yin. This is a very feminine, receptive, gentle, mystic card. So that I think you may even feel as though you are in your own, maybe even more confident, if that's possible, in your own skin by willing to take calculated risks. So this is really beautiful. I'll take a look at the above and below cards in just a moment. We're going to look closely at what you're just coming out of. This is the position of what you're just leaving, or the energy that you're just coming out of, coming into this week, Leo. And like I said, it's the fates. This woman is completely attached. You can see this here. She is attached to the stars. She's attached to something higher and greater than herself, which is why I call it the karmic card. This is something that even if you tried to run away from, Leo, it would almost cause more agony to do it. It would almost cause more upset and trouble and problem. And I don't think you would feel good in your own skin. I don't think you would feel good about settling, okay, or not being willing, not able, but willing to take a risk. I think Leos are able to do anything they want. But for all of humanity, look, if we're not willing to do what it takes to get there, we can never reach it. And I think that by and large, you contemplated your position this week on a very grand scale, and you're willing to do that this week. So this is marvelous. I'm really happy for you. Because in the game of healing, if we're talking strictly about healing right now, like I said at the very beginning of the reading, it's underestimated and I think undervalued how important it is for each and every individual on the planet to come to terms with themselves, learn to love and respect themselves, and to control their own minds and be at one, be at peace with their destiny, because it does create a ripple effect and it does heal the world around us. And I can see this here. You can see in the Soulmates card, which is in your outside or conscious influence position. So here it looks like, as I mentioned, as I laid the card, either you're seeking insight and input on this decision, or you simply have it just by virtue of mentioning this calculated risk that you're willing to take here, that everyone sort of, you're getting the virtual high five from everybody. No one's even surprised that you're willing and able to do this, Leo. And like I said here, this is long term. This is going to create solid relations, whoever your soulmates are. And again, a great deal of love. There's a key to your heart here. So this decision might even play a role in strengthening already existing relationships. So that's beautiful. Here in the internal influence or subconscious position, we have the All That Glitters card. This is just literally all that glitters isn't gold. It's asking you during this decision making, and because it's subconscious, it's perhaps something you didn't want to look at before because this is such a higher level risk-taking, higher level thinking, that there is something that will benefit you, that will keep your feet planted on the ground. It's not necessarily a bad thing to be planted on the ground and look to, say, fulfillment, like I said, not only in health and bountiful relationships, but in possessions and prosperity and riches. I think this is just a little bit of, I wouldn't say a warning, but just a little thought, I would say exercise here, to consider that whatever you're doing here is about the highest goodness for yourself and to help humanity while you yourself benefit, but that you're not doing it simply to benefit yourself. And you can see here the two masks. Just be careful here because success does appear to be around the corner regarding this calculated risk, that you don't get caught up in mask wearing. And like I said, in many situations in human relationships, what this tends to act like, particularly if you do become prosperous, it starts to act like an ego, an overarching ego, something that is meant to something that isn't meant to bulldoze, but that is being used incorrectly to bulldoze. So if this is something, like I said, this is an internal or subconscious influence, I think because the decision is a higher decision here, there still is some contemplation around you feeling as though if you do everything you need to do, you're going to benefit monetarily, and that being the only reason. But like I said, because of the other cards, unless there's something here, if we get the horse, or if we get like a dark magic card or something, I just don't see this being a problem here. I think it just means that you're going to benefit personally and monetarily and in an earth-based manner, in addition to, higher level thinking, relationships, and fulfilling karma. So I think it's beautiful. And then in the probable outcome card, we have the yin. You can see here it's the number 2. It's also the card of women, the moon, mystery, mystics, psychic ability, being receptive, being willing, artistry, etc. So all things having to do with shaping things, not with direct action, right? That would be the number 1 card. That would be the sun card. This is the moon card. So it's about your emotional availability, your emotional willingness, your psychological, emotional, sort of internal world, if you will. So your probable outcome card being the internal world, the emotional world, I think this is something that, frankly, you're going to piece together as though, yes, I'm going to benefit materially, and yes, this is going to help my artistry or my emotional health. So it's just a beautiful spread this week, Leo. It looks like you're really coming to terms with who you are, what type of earth angel you are, what you're willing to do to get the riches, prosperity, comfort, and healing that you request in the world, and you're willing to do the work. If you're coming to the edge, it means you're willing to try something new, to get rid of what doesn't work for you, and to take that risk, that calculated risk, for something bigger and better for yourself and for your loved ones. Ooh, okay, so we have the owl. The owl's keyword is deception. Not seeing deceptive energy here. The only thing I can put next to this in terms of similar energy, like I said, unless we get a heavy magic card, this is a heavy magic card. The owl, again, so I guess there are no owls in the other cards. So the owl is very similar to the moon because the owl, of course, is a nocturnal animal. And again, these are related in many ways. This is about um, feminine energy, receptive, nighttime, mystical, magic energy. It's also a card, if you will, that represents witches, warlocks, and sorcerers. Okay, this is a heavy magic card. The only other heavy magic card that could have jumped out of that deck, for example, would have been the Raven. So I'm a little surprised because I did say, like, unless you get a heavy magic card, this is a heavy magic card. However, because of the rest of the reading and because this is karmic and because it's calculated risk, I see you being fully confident in your own here. This is a comfortable place for you, and I just don't see this being abused. The reason why deception is its key word is for two reasons. When you live in this higher magic, in this, as I pointed out, right, in this sense of senses and emotions and internalizing and psychological relationships with yourself or even psychological behaviors. All this means regarding this spread to me, Leo, is that, like I said, two things. One, if someone is ever going to try to get one up on you, you're going to see right through them. Period. You don't have any time for people who are attempting deception. But the same thing is true on the versa. And that is, if you're trying to get something through over somebody or by somebody, they're going to see through you. So it goes both ways, but it's a really nice way actually to just create a check and balance here, to not even bother with an abuse of power, of emotional or psychic power here, Leo. I would say be aware of your psychic abilities, of your emotional fortitude here, because it is very, very strong, right? There's no fooling anyone. This is a very, very strong energy. And I said, again, with the probable outcome being its sister card just in another deck. But there's a great deal of feminine energy and a sense of magic here and a sense of mystery here. And I just don't feel, though, by the looks of the other cards, that any of this has to do with creating deception or you having to deflect deception. I'm going to read more into the fact that this is the card of mystics and sorcerers and witches and so forth, and that it's just a incredibly it is a card of magic. It just doesn't have to be dark magic. So that's lovely. I mean, that just means such an enormous sense of personal power. And remember, Leo, this is the emotional side, right? The moon side, the feminine, basically the opposite planetarily of the sun. You've got two of these, so you're emotionally in cahoots with yourself. You seem to have built and designed a very healthy relationship for yourself here, which is lovely, right? Because we have to be three-dimensional people. We can't just please everybody all the time, or we can't just act one way all the time. We have to be multi-dimensional type of personalities so that we're well-rounded, and it looks very much like you've accomplished a well-rounded personality here. Don't take your gifts of magic and perception and don't take this stuff for granted or think that you're just reading into things and those aren't really real for you. They are really real. Unfortunately, in this deceptive world, what happens, the world itself isn't deceptive. It's how we've been taught and what we've grown up learning is you can't trust yourself. You can't trust what you see or feel. You can't trust your experiences. But that's actually wrong. So if you're feeling a certain way, certainly if you're feeling this card, if this is resonating with you, and you've ever said, oh, geez, I don't want to read into that, or I don't want people to think blah, blah, blah of me, even if you have to keep it to yourself, I would rest assured in the fact that you are indeed able to see through things like you believe you are. And here you have divine guidance. Again, this is closely related here with the Fates card. This is just about, you can see here, she's almost got her hand on a star, which is in the shape of a heart. So many hearts here. This is divine guidance. You're willing and able to follow through on, I'm going to say it, the capital D word, destiny. So Leo, I really hope that you appreciated and enjoyed this reading. I really loved doing it for you this week. This was a real joyful reading for me. Please let me know what you think of the reading in the comment section below. Share and like with other Leos if you think that they might enjoy it. Share it with them. Be sure to subscribe. I upload free tarot readings every week, and I look forward to seeing you next week for your next weekly reading. Bye for now.